Thank you so much for being here. My name is Catherine, and I would love to help. And I would love to help you through a beautiful story this evening, and that is called An Unexpected Thing. And this is a great story just to teach us all how powerful our thoughts are and what to do, maybe whenever the thoughts that we have aren't making us feel good, how we can turn it around to really, really help us. So this is an unexpected thing, and the author is Ashling Lindsay. And I really, really hope that you enjoy it. I definitely enjoyed reading it, and I think you'll enjoy it as well. So this is the start, and it starts off with a little boy. Being afraid sometimes is quite normal. Everyone feels afraid at some time or another. But Fred was different. Fred was afraid most of the time. And that can be very hard. Um, because we all get different feelings, and we get lots of different feelings even throughout the day as well. But if you're afraid all the time, then we gotta change that. And we can change that. And we're going to find out how Fred changes it as we go through this story. There were many things that scared Fred, but it was the unexpected things that worried him the most. Now, I don't know if you can see it right here. Now, Fred's using his imagination a lot. From what I can see, I think Fred is using his imagination, but he's not using his imagination in a kind, caring way, because he thinks that there's a snake underneath his bed, but it's not a snake, it's just socks. So I want you to be really careful with how you use your imagination. And whenever we use our imagination, we might as well use our imagination to think about things that we really want, and to think about things that make us feel really good. Because I don't know about you, but I wouldn't like thinking that there's a snake underneath my bed. And it's not even a snake, it's just some socks as well. So Fred just needs to be really, really careful with his imagination. And the next little one here is that it's just a wee cat here. But Fred thinks it's just this big, 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 big animal, the big, big shadows, and they're maybe having fights, and that might make Fred feel a little bit afraid. So you can imagine how you felt when, out of nowhere, the spot appeared. And this is the spot right here. Too afraid to look straight at it, Fred did what anyone in his position would do. What do you think it might be? He hid. So that sometimes happens, that whenever we're afraid of something, that we maybe avoid it, or maybe we just don't want to do it, or we go and we hide. Um, but whenever Fred is hiding like that, he's he's not helping himself, and he's not helping himself. I'll leave it at that, and I'll say that he's not helping himself. Now, there's something that I learned, is that whenever you get afraid of something, whenever you're afraid of something, whenever you get a little bit scared, is that get curious about it and to ask questions about it. So you maybe might be afraid of, say, spiders, and that's maybe just because you don't know a lot about spiders, or maybe you're afraid of snakes. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit afraid of snakes, and it's because I just don't know that a lot about snakes. Now, if you maybe asked me to hold a snake, then I would probably give it a go, but I would definitely be a little bit afraid, and I would definitely want to ask lots of questions. So there's a wee tip or a wee trick that maybe you can try. If there's something that you're afraid of, see if you can find out a little bit more about it. Get a little bit curious about it, and that might help. Um, and I'll not spoil anything, but Fred's going to get a little bit curious. Fred's going to ask questions, and he's going to find out a little bit more about the black spot. Now, this is our new character. This is a lovely girl called Coco. And Coco is really going to be really kind here to Fred. When the spot appeared, Coco was standing nearby, right in the middle of the garden, not hiding, not afraid. So Coco is curious, and she's not using her imagination to think, oh, this is such a dreadful thing. She's just thinking, oh, I wonder what that is. I wonder what this exciting thing is. And she's going to teach Fred something really, really cool in a wee minute. Coco might have been afraid too, had she seen the same dreadful thing Fred had seen. But as it turns out, Coco saw something completely different. I love that. And Coco did what anyone in her position would do. She decided to help Fred see things from her point of view. I love that. Now, there's a little saying that I have learned, and it's by somebody who has helped me feel really good, and that is by Wayne Dyer. And Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And this is what Coco is doing, and this is what Fred is doing. It's the same spot, but they're just changing how they've looked at things. So all Fred has to do is have a look at that quote. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So if Fred could see this spot not in a scary way, if Fred could maybe get excited about the spot, then that would change everything. Because that's exactly what Coco has done. So you remember that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I'll just read this last line here because sometimes I get really excited and I start explaining it and I forget what the last sentence in the story was. So she decided to help Fred see things from her point of view. So it's really nice. She's a really good friend because she's going to help Fred. If Fred thought the spot was a moon blasted from its orbit, Coco thought it was a bubble bobbing in the wind. Is not a fun way to look at it. If Fred thought it was a comet blazing towards the earth, Coco thought it was a balloon carrying a birthday wish. It's not such a lovely way to look at it. I know the way that I would want to look at it. I would want to think the way Coco's thinking, because Coco was thinking in a much kinder way, in a much loving way, and just a more positive way as well. I love all these thoughts here that Coco is having. And I don't know if you noticed, but Fred's over here and it feels a wee bit dark over here. There's lots of the dark background. And then you go over here and it's a little bit brighter, which is nice. A moon or a bubble a comet or a balloon, a spider or a leaf. In the end, they had to agree they didn't quite know what they had seen. It could have been anything. And the little thing that's coming to my mind is, in this little part here, they didn't quite know what they had seen. It could have been anything. So if you're not quite sure what it is, I think it's much better and it's easier and it's kinder if you just see it in a really nice way, in a really kind way, and a really positive way. And even if you're not sure, you might as well think it's a really, really good thing. You just might as well think that. If you're not sure, just think it's a good thing and it's an amazing thing and it's a thing that'll help us. You might as well think that rather than thinking it's something that'll hurt us or it's something that will make us feel scared. You gotta use your imagination there just to think about how you would like it to be as well. So thanks to Coco, Fred did something he had never done before. And I love that. I love that Coco has seen that Fred needed a wee helping hand and Coco has helped Fred. So Fred's feeling very, very weird. And I love this bit here because it says here, he faced his spear and sat directly beneath the spot. And that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to face your fear. It takes a lot of bravery and it takes a lot of strength and a lot of power as well. But you know that you have all of that in you. You know that you're so powerful and you're so strong and you're so full of courage and so full of bravery, just like Fred, just like Fred. And Coco and Fred talked about all the wonderful things it could be. How amazing is that? So instead of Fred getting worried and getting afraid, he's now thinking of all the wonderful, all the amazing, spectacular things it could be. And I think that's pretty awesome. So I would be saying a big, big, big well done to Fred. As the light faded, Coco and Fred spotted something they had never seen before. It was a sparkling string dangling from the bottom of the spot. Together, they decided to investigate. So they're getting curious. And you can see them here, they're getting curious, which is really cool. Oh, wow. So they've climbed all the way up here. And if you can see, they're just right there. They're just right there. I wonder what it is. The world is fizzing with things, scary things, terrific things, wonderful things. Some things we know and some things we don't. And even though these things can sometimes make us feel afraid and unsure, together we can find them out. Yeah. So they've just gone on like a big slide down there, which is pretty cool. And they're happy and they're having a really, really nice time as well. Now, I think that that story is reminding me, and it's just, it's helping me as well. All these stories, they help me as well. And I think that story just reminded me just how powerful our imagination is and how powerful our thoughts are. And if there's something that we're not sure of, if there's something that we want to figure out, then that's a really good thing. And we can ask questions as well. We can ask questions whenever we're afraid, because that'll help us understand things a little bit more. And it also reminds me that if there's something that we're not sure of, we might as well just see the good in it. And you might as well just think it's a really, really good thing. And it's a really wonderful thing. And it's a really special thing as well. And the other thing, there's lots of things in this story. The other thing is, I just want to remind you of that lovely quote. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And you maybe might hear some people talking about a glass of water. And if you imagine a glass, and if I fill the glass, if we fill it halfway, then the question there is the glass half empty or is it half full? And I always think it's half full. And all I've done there is I've just changed the way I've looked at it. Instead of thinking, oh, it's half empty, where's the rest of it? I've said, oh, no, 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 it's half full. And that's just a more positive way, a brighter way of looking at it. So, how will we think about that one? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I hope you really enjoyed this story. I really enjoyed this one. And I hope you have an incredible week. And I hope you just know how amazing and how special and how wonderful and how powerful you really, really are. You really, really, really are. So have an incredible week. And I will see you all again next week for another episode, and we'll have another lovely book as well. Thanks so much for being here.